Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you the system that I used to create my goals for 2023 and then my subsequent plans in terms of my planner lineup in order to achieve those goals next year. So if that sounds good to you, I hope that you stick around. Before we hop into it, my name is Jay. On this channel, I tend to create planner productivity type content, and then I also throw in some of my personal hobbies such as makeup, vlogs, skincare, things like that whenever I feel like it. So this channel is really just kind of turned into my creative corner on the internet, and I'd love to have you join me by clicking the subscribe button down below. Anyway, without further ado, let's just hop into it. So if you follow me on Instagram, I have been kind of loosely talking about my plans as I've been thinking about them. Like I've just been like free flow, pop a story up about what I'm thinking about as it's coming. So as I've been sharing that I've been like making goals and sharing that I got this planner in the mail, I've had a couple people message me and ask if I'll share my goals for the year and then how I plan on using my planners to achieve that. And I've never really shared goals with you guys all that often because I'm definitely the type of person, I like to keep them private. I think it definitely, like, there's two different people in this world when it comes to like goal setting. Some people are like, yeah, here's what I'm going to do, here's the goal, and other people are like, they're gonna keep quiet about it and quietly work in the background to achieve it. So I have kind of come to like a compromise because I do think that there's value in me sharing my goals with you so that you guys can better understand why I'm choosing to use the planner system that I'm going to use. So I think I can like communicate my goals vaguely enough so that you can understand why I'm choosing to use the planners, but still have that level of privacy. So as you can see right here, this is the Moxie Life compass assessment. This one says 2022. So this compass assignment is a free printable on the Moxie Life website. You just have to sign up with your email and then they'll give you access to the digital files. They had a compass assessment as well in 2020 and 2021, which I used. And then last year in 2022, I didn't really set goals. Like I had things like I wanted to accomplish, but I didn't sit down and go through any goal setting process. I wasn't really strict about it. I just kind of like entered the new year. And I think that it definitely has had an impact on the amount of things that I've done this year. On my planner usage, I feel like I don't pick up my planner and engage with it all that often compared to previous years. I'm still using my planner, I'm still in it, but just not as much. And I think it has to do with the fact that I didn't like set goals and I haven't been having like a habit tracker, or I think that the goals are helpful for setting that. I think that it's helpful for me to set goals for a number of reasons, not only to achieve the things that I want to do, but it also increases the amount that I interact with my planner and the other tools in my life that help me be productive and achieve the things I want to achieve. Anyway, all of that to say, the compass assessment is a free resource for Moxie Life. This one says 2022. I'm not sure if they ever did a 2023 version, but from what I can tell, the versions don't really change year from year. Like this seems very much like the compass assessment I had done in both 2020 and 2019. Like even though that this number's here, I don't think it actually changes. So essentially what the compass assessment is that it takes you through this process that the company has created. And the goal is to increase your self-awareness, to recognize opportunities for personal development, change, and growth. It helps you set meaningful goals, and it helps you to track your progress throughout the year. So essentially what it does is, I'll show you this. So if you can see here, it gives you this wheel, and each of these colors represent a different area in your life, okay? So for example, financial, spirituality and personal growth, relationships. I think there's 8 of them. Financial, physical environment, health and wellness. So there's a bunch of different areas in your life, which when you look at those areas arbitrarily and be like, and you're trying to compare how you are in those areas, it's like comparing apples to oranges, right? Like how am I doing with finances versus how am I doing with my relationship versus how am I doing with my health and wellness? It's kind of hard to put those things on a scale because they're so different, right? Like, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, comparatively, like when I sit down and think about my financial health compared to my health and wellness, I think I'm a 7 on financial and a 5 on health and wellness. It's hard to arbitrarily rank those items or those areas of your life because they're so different. But what Moxie Life does is for each of those 8 sections, they give you 8 questions, and you're going to answer those questions on a scale from 1 to 10. After you answer those questions, you're going to add up your total for all of those questions and divide it by 8. And that's going to give you your score for each section. You're going to then put your score on the map, right? So in this way, you're going to be able to directly compare your spirituality and personal growth to your finances. They figured out a way for you to actually rank them and compare them. And then, so you're going to see what your goal is, right? You're going to see what your score is. So say, for example, you got a 5 in spirituality and personal growth, and you got a 6 in health and wellness. You're then going to be like, okay, by the end of 2023, what do I want that number to be? Right? Like, say I had a 5 in financial growth, and I'm like, okay, I want to get to an 8 by the end of the year. You can look back at some of those questions and think, okay, what needs to change in my life in order for me to get a higher score, in order for me to be more satisfied, in order for me to give better answers to these questions? So it kind of gives you a guide. Now, when it comes to the personality, spiritual growth, and personal development, there's also a personal section. So I've literally just axed the spiritual section because I'm not a spiritual person. So what I like about it is that it's rigid and structured enough to give me a guide as to how to set goals, but it's not too structured and too rigid to the point where it's like, okay, this doesn't apply, this doesn't really work, I'm kind of having problems tweaking this system to make it work for me. It's really flexible. So I do recommend the Compass assessment for Moxie Life. Again, it's free. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. You have a big version. I should have printed off a new copy, but you have a big version in this area where you rank yourself. The rest of these pages are the 8 questions per section that I mentioned, and then it actually gives you areas to write down your next year's goals. It is pretty short. It only took me like probably about 2 hours in total. It took me like maybe 45 minutes to go through the system, but then I spent a while once I figured out what my priorities are and what I want to work on next year to actually set my goals. This just kind of allows you to figure out what you want your priorities to be. So yeah, I do recommend this. Again, it's free. You just print it off, or I guess you could import it if you have like an iPad and you want to use your Apple Pencil to just write directly on it, but I do recommend it. So once I figured out what my goals are or where my priorities are, I used my B6stology to actually map out the goals. But I essentially put each of the sections, health and wellness, financial, relationships, personal, and I created my goals. And then I thought to myself, okay, so here are my goals, and here are the planners that I want to use, which I'll show you in a second. Where am I going to track what in order to achieve those goals? Okay, so for reference, I had a number of health and wellness related goals, weight loss. I want to spend some time this year cooking and then creating a list of meals that I thoroughly enjoy that are a bit more like healthy. So that when I'm like, oh, what should I eat? What can I make? You ever have those nights where you're like, I don't know what I want to eat, but I'm hungry. And typically on those nights, I don't eat great. So I want to actually create a list of meals that I have tried and that I thoroughly enjoy to reference back to. And I also want to exercise more this year, or in 2023. I also have a number of financial goals. I want to save a certain amount of money this upcoming year, and I also want to limit my spending on makeup, fragrance, hair products, self-care stuff, right? So actually I'm going to be doing a whole project on my YouTube about that as well. So if you're interested in that, I would love if you'd subscribe. And then I had a couple of personal goals, a couple of relationship goals, but the main areas of my life that I want to focus on next year is health and wellness, financial, and there was one other one, hold on. Oh, work and learning. So those are the 3 areas of my life that I really want to focus on. For work and learning, I want to take the LSAT next year, and then I have a couple of goals related to social media and the work that I do on this platform. So yeah, those were the 3 main areas that I really wanted to focus on. The other areas, I do still have a couple of goals, but I noticed I had an intrinsic interest in kind of moving forward and progressing in those 3 areas. So knowing that, I then sat down and was like, okay, how am I going to use my planners in order to achieve those goals? So here's the fun part where I actually get to show you guys planners. So the plan for next year is 4 planners. Well, 3 planners and 1 journal. And here they are. Let me grab them. So the plan for next year is 3 planners and 1 journal, and I'll just go over each of the planners and what I intend to use them for. I don't know why this is here. I grabbed the wrong thing. This is my current planner, but it ends in December. But this is the lineup for next year, I think. So first things first, let's talk about this one. So this is my Sweet Freckle Designs weekly diary. I am currently in the middle of doing a setup of it. I have made some progress, but I definitely haven't finished everything, but I thought I'd just show you guys. So I don't know what I want to do with this page here. And then I just have like this little dashboard with some sticky notes and a saying that I really like. This is from the Amanda Gorman inauguration speech. And then I just have some vellum, and I think I'm going to underline my paydays on this little year at a glance. And then I've gone through and this is a completely undated planner. So I've gone through and I've added the months, the days, and then the dates. And this is just going to be my normal calendar. It's going to have events, birthdays, content stuff, all of the things that is in my Hobonichi weeks calendar for this current year. And then the monthlies I haven't done anything with, but they're going to be my normal monthlies that you guys see me do my plan with me in, except I'm going to also have a tracker in each of my weeklies this year. That's something that I kind of did off and on depending on how I was feeling. And I find that when I have a tracker in my planner, I'm much more likely to pick up my planner to interact with the tracker, and that leads me to interact with the rest of it as a whole. So I'm definitely going to include a tracker every week. And then I've started to set up the back here. So I've printed off a dashboard, added in some sterling ink vellum. This is the notes page insert. Okay, so on this page, I'm going to do a vision board, and I'm going to write out some of my goals. I'm going to try and write them all out except for my health goals, and I'll explain why. But I'm going to have a vision board with all my goals. I'm going to have an adulting tracker here, and I might put another dashboard here. There's one that I really like that I might print and paste in here. I am going to have my no-buy rules and my why behind the project, which this is the project that I think I'm going to share with you guys on Instagram. And this no-buy / project pan is going to help towards me achieving my financial goals next year. Okay, and then here I'm going to put my content goals for the year, so YouTube, social media as a whole. And then I'm going to do a yearly YouTube tracker. I have never, ever, in all of the years that I've tried, been able to keep up with how many followers I have at the end of the month. I don't really write down how much income I make from YouTube, which isn't a lot, by the way, but I do get some, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys that interacts with my videos and presses subscribe and watches all the ads. But I've never had like a place. I've created places to track it, but I never really stuck with it. So I'm going to try and make a yearly YouTube tracker that just kind of encompasses all the things I want to track, so that I don't have like multiple different things I have to fill it at the end of the month, which is kind of how I've done it in the past and I haven't stuck with it. And then we've got content stuff. So I'm going to have Q1 video ideas / notes. I'm going to separate this page in two. So up here, I'm going to have Q1 video ideas. And then at the bottom, I'm going to have a Q1 reflection. What did and didn't work? What kind of content did I enjoy filming the most? And what kind of content did you guys like the most? Just kind of a place for me to write down some information. And then I went in and I pasted in these horizontal calendars. I pasted in all 12 of them for the year. These are from My Minimal Planner, and I printed them off on Tomoe River paper. So we've got January, February, and March. And then I've got, again, Q2 video ideas and a space for my Q2 reflection. And I've got that all the way until December, or the end of Q4. And then we've got my end of the year content reflection. So I want to have a page where I can look back at the entire year as a whole. What videos did I love filming? How did my Project Pan go? Ideally, I want to film that and have that be a thing on my channel for the entire year. So how did that go? Just a place for me to write down all of my thoughts and feelings. And then I'm going to do some type of LSAT tracker here. Not sure what that's going to look like exactly yet. I'm going to have a reading log and a to be read list. And I'm going to create a fun things / joy list. Another one of my goals next year is creating a fun things list. Honestly, a lot of my fun things have to do with me spending money. Like a lot of the things that I love doing, like just going out and getting a coffee and going to the bookstore. I normally leave the bookstore with a book in hand. So I want to create a fun things list, things that I truly enjoy that don't require spending money, or like very minimal money, maybe like $5, like for entrance to somewhere, but like not 50, right? Like on every outing. So that's one of my goals, is like throughout the year to add to this list as I try new things and do new things. So we've got my fun list, my wish list. It's a 2-page spread. I use my wish list more so as a tool. So if there's something I really, really, really want, I will physically write it down on a wish list in my planner. And then 9 times out of 10, 2 weeks from then, a month from then, I no longer want the item. And the practice of writing it down and being able to go back to this wish list when I want something else and I go to scribble something else in and I see, hey, last time I wrote something in, I don't even want it anymore. It just reminds myself of like how consumerism can get you in that moment. So 2-page wish list to give myself all of the space to write down all the things, 90% of which I won't want. And then that's it. So we've got the rest of the year. And what I'm planning on doing with all of these back pages is monthly setups. So let me open my Stology again because I closed it and I need to reference it. I plan on doing monthly setups in the back pages. So I plan on having like a monthly intro page. It'll probably be the SM Plans printable monthly freebie or the Sterling Ink printable monthly free, probably, whoa. So in the rest of these back pages, I plan on doing monthly setups. So it'll probably be the Sterling Ink printable monthly freebie because I get the monthly sub kit every month. So I'll be able to like use those stickers and it'll all match and look nice. So I'll probably put the monthly freebie up here because I do notice that I love having a spot in my planner where I can just cross off the days with a pen as it happens. And I don't like doing that in my weeks and I don't like doing that in my months, but I typically like to have a spot to do that. So I'll print off the monthly freebie and it'll act as a nice little cover page. I'll leave a little bit of space down here to mark down if I have specific goals that month. So sometimes I'll have like an overarching goal for the year and then I'll break it down on a quarterly or month by month basis, like little goals, and all of the completion of all of those little goals is essentially the completion of the big goal. So I'll have a little spot down at the bottom to write down those if I have them for the month. And then I'm going to do a finance tracker for the month. I was going to set up a finance tracker in like this yearly section of my notes pages, but I think it's going to be more advantageous for me to do it on a monthly basis. So I'm going to create the finance trackers for each month within the monthly sections that I'm creating back here. And then I am going to also do, I'm pretty sure, don't hold me to it, at least I'm going to try it out. But Hannah from Sweet Freckle Designs, who made this planner, not too long ago, she posted that she had done a horizontal weekly spread in the back of her planner, which she used this for memories. She was using like Coffee Monsters Co. little doodle stickers and little emojis, and she was just using it as a cute little spread that wasn't too big, so it wasn't overwhelming, and she could play with all of her like really cute decorative stickers and just do like a weekly snapshot of all the highlights. So I might do that week by week. I'm going to try it out. I don't know if it'll stick throughout the year, but I'm definitely going to try it out, right? So I would have my weekly snapshot, and then it would flip, and then I would just go into like my free form dailies. And what I mean by that, I can actually show you. So essentially what a freeform daily is for me is I'll just take up as much space as I need per day and just continue to use the pages. So I'll probably do that for the entire week following the weekly highlights. And then I'll do another weekly highlight page and then freeform dailies, and it'll take me to the end of the month. And then say, for example, the last day of the month lands here, I'll have a spot for a monthly reflection and monthly check-in. And then I think that's it for like the monthly setup. So that's why I really wanted to get this planner, because this planner has 365 note pages, and I knew that I wanted to do a number of trackers this next year, and I didn't want to have to carry around a supplemental notebook, which is what I have to do when I use a regular Hobonichi Weeks. I always have to have a supplemental notebook in the back for my dailies, and I didn't want that next year. I wanted one book that'd be able to house it all. So that's the plan for my Sweet Freckle Designs weekly diary. So the next planner that I'm going to be using for 2023 is a Hobonichi Weeks. It's a Hobonichi Weeks Mega, and it's the sneaker in navy. I have put some craft paper in the clear cover and stuck this little thing here. The craft paper is from years ago from Michael's. It's not available anymore. And then this little die cut is actually from the Sweet Freckle Designs journaling card. So let me see if I have an extra one. So this was a journaling card that went out with some Sweet Freckle Design orders a little while ago, and all I did was cut out this little part and use it as a die cut. Every single time I show this die cut, I get questions about it. So I have asked Hannah, who is the owner of Sweet Freckle Designs, if she'll make it into a sticker. And she said she's gonna look for the file and that she may be able to do so. So if that happens, I will let you know. Just, I keep getting questions about it, and I hate not having a place that I can actually reference you to actually buy it. So it should be coming, okay? It should be coming soon, hopefully, fingers crossed. But anyway, this is a Hobonichi Weeks Mega. I haven't done a lot with the setup, and I kind of don't want to do a lot with the setup. I really want to keep this paper and pencil. Sorry, not paper and pencil, paper and pen. So I'll probably eventually put something here and stick something in this pocket, but it's not on my priority. This isn't like a decorative planner. And I'll probably eventually do one of those cute collages everyone does on this front page, but for now it's empty. I don't have any plans for this. I have no plans. So, and I'm not pressured to figure out what I'm going to do with this. I don't really care. But here I'm going to use this top part up here for measurement. So I'll put like hips, bust, like a H for hips, a B for bust, and all the different places I want to measure. And then I'll just put in the measurement in each of those boxes. And then here I'll mark down my weight. I don't weigh myself daily, but when I do weigh myself, I'll just write it in the corresponding box. And then for the monthly, I'm planning on writing down what workout I did, and then if I close my Apple Watch rings. So if you have an Apple Watch, you have this little section here which has rings, and it has a couple of goals. So like they want you to stand for 12 hours. You can set the amount of, like you can set a personal goal for the amount of calories you want to burn. And then there's the amount of minutes you exercise. So I'm going to either highlight the day or just write it down whenever I do close my Apple Watch rings. Okay, and then for the weekly section, I'm planning on putting a food log on this side. So whatever I ate, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, whatever, I'll just write it down here. And then I put a delineating line over here. And here I'm going to have my gratitude. Ideally, I would have my gratitude in here. I just don't know if I'm going to have enough room on the weekly spreads to include it. But I definitely know that there's room for it in here. So I'm not sure, like, we'll see if I have space for it once I actually start playing around with this planner on a weekly basis. But more than likely it will be in here. There's room for it. And I do want to interact with this planner every day anyway. So, and then over here is day specific notes. And then over here, I've got a weekly tracker. So I'm tracking things like, did I have a headache? Did I take Tylenol? Did I have a stomach ache? Did I take my vitamins? Did I make time for movement? All of those things. And then down here, I have a spot for notes and just general like reflections. So things that are maybe larger that don't really fit in the note section here, maybe some more like insightful reflections as I think back on my week as a whole or a couple of days as a whole, or just like general notes that I want to keep track of that aren't specific to a certain day. So that's what I'm going to be using my weeklies for. It's very simple. And then my back pages, I'm probably just going to put progress photos and monthly check-in. So how did I feel about the past month, about my health and wellness? And then I'm going to just have a ton of space down here to write down my thoughts, feelings, and opinions about my relationship with food, my relationship with working out, how's it going, how am I feeling? So that's essentially all that's going to be in this planner. It's just going to be my health and wellness log. And this is hopefully going to help me to achieve a number of health and wellness goals I have for 2023. And then last but not least, we have 2 fun planners. So we've got 2 fun planners. So first things first, we've got the Take a Note. So the Take a Note is an A5 planner. I did an entire speed review on this. And I don't have a functional use for this planner, but I want to use it. So I'm labeling it my fun planner. When I want to just play with stickers, when I want to memory plan, when I want to try out a new layout, when I want to film a video, when I just want to have fun, because at the end of the day, planning is not only a tool for me, but it's also a hobby. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's how I creatively express myself. I don't do art, and I don't play instruments. So planning is like my creative expression along with makeup. So this is just going to be my fun planner. I've thought about selling it because I'm like, hey, I'm probably not going to functionally use this and I don't want to sell it, but I definitely don't need like an A5 planner on the daily. Like that's not necessary, but I want to use it. So it's going to stick around and it's going to be my fun planner. And when life gets busy, it may not get used, but when I have time and I want to just kind of zone out and put some stuff down and jot some things down and write down some memories, it's going to be in here. So my fun planner. I've never really done this going into a year. I've never really been like, hey, I have an extra planner that I bought for the past year and I'm going to use it strictly for fun, whatever that may look like. But I'm kind of excited about it because I haven't really done that before. It seems like it's going to be a good idea for me. It seems like it's going to be a guilt-free way to enjoy something different than what I'm planning to use every day, because eventually some point, every single year at some point, I switch into a different planner for about a month. And hopefully this will combat this, right? Like hopefully this will combat me feeling the need to switch because I already have something fun that I can pull out and play with. So this is going to be like my little planning happy place. So there's that. And then we've got my standard TN. So my standard TN is my journal. So I have a grid insert in here, which is almost empty. I think I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages left for the year. I'm hoping to finish this by the end of December so I can just completely start a new insert for the new year. But I have this, and I just write in this whenever I want to. There is no pressure with this. There is no guilt if I don't pick it up. This is truly just whenever I feel like writing or documenting something, or if I keep a movie ticket or take a picture with someone or get a birthday card that I really loved. I just tape it in here and I'll journal about it, but there's no strings attached. It's just whenever I feel like it. And it's been the most successful I've actually been with journaling ever. And then I also did purchase the 2023 monthly insert. I thought that I was going to write down a memory per day when I bought this, but the more that I think about it, my journal works for me because there's no obligation to pick it up every day. So what I'm probably going to do is at the end of the month, just use this insert as like a creative space. I'll probably write down a memory per day, but I'll do it all at once and just kind of really have fun and have like a nice journaling sesh filling out this insert, because I like the idea of having this really slim insert at the end of the year that I can look back on and be like, wow, I had a great year. I did some amazing things. Here's everything I did in February and everything I did in September. And I like the idea of it being super slim. And this is something, hopefully, if it is successful, this is something that I would like to do for years to come in the future, because I really like the idea of just having this slim little booklet that has so much of the joy in my life. So that's my plans for 2023. As you can see, like, my Sweet Freckle Designs isn't fully set up, and neither is my Hobonichi Weeks. And I'm just kind of setting them up as I feel like it, as I have the inspiration to do so, and it's been really nice. In prior years, I've really created this event out of it, and I'm like, oh, I have to have my planner set up, and I have to do this flip through video of my setup before the beginning of the new year. And this year I'm like, no, I'm gonna take it easy and do it when I feel like it, and really create a planner that I love in terms of like the decoration I choose to add, and the dashboards I choose to put in, and the stickers I choose, and the vellums I choose. I really just want it to be a calm, peaceful, serene experience. Not that I didn't love my Hobonichi Weeks from last year. It was a lot of work. That planner was so much work to put. I put in so much work. And even if you watch my flip for my 2022 Hobonichi Weeks setup, like you guys saw, I was printing custom stickers for it and creating all these trackers, and every page had a different washi, and I put a lot of work into it, and I stressed myself out over it, and I'm not doing that this year. And I feel a-okay with that choice. I will show you though, when I feel like I'm done with it, I will flip through and give you like my setup. I just don't know when that will be. It may be 2 weeks into January, or I might sit down next week and just do it all because I feel like it. But anyway, I've talked for so long. Those are my plans. Those are my goals and my plans for 2023. Let me know down below if you've set goals, and if you did you use a system, or did you just kind of do it on your own? And then also, what planners are you planning on using, and how are you feeling about starting a new planner? For a while there, I wasn't excited. I was like, I like my Hobonichi Weeks, and I like the fact that I can flip through all these used pages, and I don't want to move to a new book. And now, as the end of the year is kind of getting closer, I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of excited to try something that still feels like home, but is also a little bit different. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I hope that you guys had as fun of a time as I did. If you have any questions for me, be sure to leave them down below. And before you head out, I would love you to take a second to like and subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!